Hi there, my name's Trevor from Topocata, and we're an animation company, and we were trying to work out a way of adding more images to our business card, because obviously there's only a certain amount of space. Maybe you can fit 1 or 2 images on there. So we thought about it and we came up with this, which is much like those maps you get on city guides. So I can take you through the process, how you can do it yourself. Maybe you're a design company or you just want to add more information into your business card. I'm going to show you how to do it, so let's get started. Okay, so what you're going to need is 2 business cards. One's going to be your front, one's going to be your back. I'm going to sandwich your printout in between. You're going to need your printout. That's going to be sandwiched in between your 2 cards. You're going to need some double-sided tape, some sticky Velcro. So this has got a sticky back. I've just got a roll of it. You can get these from very online stationers. Scissors and a metal rule or something that's got a hard straight edge. That's going to be used to make your folds. And just a little bit about the printout. So I'm going to put a link in the description to a template for this printout. Essentially, this bit here, which mimics the business card, is the bits that actually get stuck to the business card itself when it gets folded up. The proportions here need to be just slightly less, a mil or so less than the actual business card, so that it obviously fits behind and sandwiches in between them and you can't see it out the edge. Okay, so I've got this sort of professionally printed, but you can just do normal paper, normal colour printer, and that works just as well. I just wanted a slightly more professional look. So the first thing to do is to put in the diagonal folds. So I usually use one that I've either roughly or whatever folded up beforehand as a bit of a guide, but you can see there is a diagonal fold across the whole thing. So that's the ones that I'm going to be doing first. So using that as a reference, I can see that I need to fold what I'm calling the front. So this business card bit which gets stuck is we're calling the back. The front is where we're going to start with our diagonal fold. So we just want to line up the corners. So I've just got the metal rule overlapping the edge of the table slightly, and then I'm lining up the corners of the printout as precisely as I can, and then you sort of push your thumbs up against the rule to put in a fold there and just define that diagonal as best you can. You want to be as accurate as possible. I'm pretty sure this one isn't going to be as accurate as possible because of the time constraints, but once you've got the fold started, you can then finish it off yourself. And you'll notice that these 2 corners on this side don't exactly meet up. Well, we don't need to worry about that. The proportions of this are not perfectly square, so they won't line up. So don't worry about that too much. Right, then we're going to put the other diagonal in. So same deal. You just need to line those corners up as best you can. Have the metal rule overlapping the table slightly. And when you're pretty happy, then you can push up with your thumbs and put that fold in. So that's pretty, well, there's a bit slapdash. There we go, yeah, you can see that doesn't really line up, that's my fault. Okay, so we put in our diagonals. Now we need to put in, if we can see on our reference, there's a fold that runs from the top to the bottom, and that runs opposite to the folds that we've just put in. So all we do is just turn it over, and it's a matter of lining up these corners So as best you can again. I think that's about right. And then we've put on other fold in, so that's top to bottom now, so that runs contrary to the diagonal folds. And then the last folds to put in are the trickiest ones. They're the corner ones, and what you need to do is make sure you're looking at the back of your printout, and we're going to use a ruler once again, just slightly overlapping the edge of the table. And the guide for this is the edges of your images. So if you've given your images an edge, you can see where you need to fold. So I need to put a fold that's from this left edge that runs across and then just stops at this diagonal. So I'm going to do that for all four corners. So here we go. So I'm going to line up this line so it runs the right length of there, and then just use your finger, push against the ruler up until that diagonal fold. Oh, I've done a bit, it's a bit sloppy. And then same on the other side, so you can line up the images, image fold just about, and then just drag your finger from the diagonal fold to the edge of the paper. Okay, so we have to do that for all of these, so the other side here too. Just putting those folds in, same here. Oops, let's do it properly. Lining it up to that diagonal fold, and then the last set is on the vertical. So we've done the horizontal ones, now we're going to do the vertical ones. So lining it up here, this one too. Same the other side, lining up the images. This is very sloppy, I do apologise. You'll take a lot more care of it than I would. Okay. These edges, if we look at our reference again, this diagonal fold that we put in, we've got it correct up to here, but then this fold runs counter to this, the direction of this fold, if you like. So that's what we have to do. So we want to push this fold out, if you like. So we do it from this side, and we just push the fold against itself so it folds the other way, just for that section, that corner section. And we try and marry up these edges, and we're going to do the same for every single corner. It's exactly the same process. You just fold it, that corner, the other way, and marry up those edges as best you can. So yeah, so once you've folded those corners in, so they're in the opposite direction to the rest of the diagonal, it should look something like this, and then that allows you to fold it together. Now it sort of takes its own path as the way it folds up, so there's no set way of it folding up, but it just scrunches together like this, so that it goes flat. Then the next thing is to sandwich this between your two business cards. So I'm going to do the bottom first. So this bottom bit is going to stick to this bottom business card, and I use some double-sided tape for this, which I've slightly cheated and pre-cut, so it's still got the backing on at this stage. So I'm just going to line that up with that top edge, and I'm just going to put the other one first. So another bit on the bottom edge, So we put our sticky tape, and then I'm just going to take the backing off. Same with this one. And then we're going to place it onto our business card. Now you want it to, this little point here, to overlap a little on this edge, so that when the two cards open, they don't bang up against each other. So it creates a nice little hinge. And then also line up the top and bottom if you can. So there we go. I'm going to stick that there. And that also leaves enough space on this edge, which is where we're going to stick our Velcro in a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to stick the top on, so that's the same deal, just with double-sided tape. So just sticking that down, still got its backing on, lining up with the edge, remove the backing, same with this one. And there we go, and then the trick is now to line up the two business cards. So you want basically to make sure the top business card and the bottom business card line up. That's pretty good. Okay, so they're stuck, and then you get your Velcro roll and you cut a slither off each of the different types of Velcro. So there's a hook, and then there's this sort of fuzzy bit. So I've already done that. Again, I'm slightly cheated. You can see how thin I've cut these. That's basically because you want the cards to stick together, but a thin piece doesn't hold as tightly as a fatter piece, if you like. So it's easier to open. So I'm just going to stick one of the bits of Velcro, it doesn't really matter which, on this right side edge, if I can. I'm doing a bit of a rush, so you can see that stuck there. And then this one I'm going to place on top of that one, so I know that they're going to line up. So that's that Velcro, those two bits together as best they can. Whoops, it's just a plain ball. And then we can shut the card, and that will then stick onto the backing of that top piece of Velcro. Make sure it's all stuck together, and then it says the bottom bit's not quite stuck. And then you've got your display business card. So like I say, I'll place in the description a link to a template for the printout. So there you go, your own little business card display. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, please subscribe, like this video, and we'll see you soon. Bye.